Oh, I don't have my sleeve pulled up. No wonder this hand's colder. Gotta always cut a hole in your sleeve, right? Always. I thought about doing it with my jumpsuit too. But jumpsuits are so expensive. I don't know. It's an idea. It's an idea though, for sure. I'm Josh, and this is our daughter, Ivy.
I'm Celia, and this is our son, Hamish.
Here on Steep in the Woods, we live completely off-grid on a 26-acre homestead nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains. You'll see no fancy stuff here. It's just making do with what you have and what you can figure out. If you're new to the project, a big warm welcome. If you're a tough old root, then welcome back. Today's short video, it is a short one. We usually produce long videos. This one is short because I want to put out a video today. I think that would be good. Either way, it is a short construction tip that I'm utilizing on the pallet tower build. Now this tip is most commonly seen, or pretty much possibly exclusively seen, on log home constructions, specifically more primitive ones. If you're gonna buy $1 million log home and get $1 million company to put that in for you, they're probably not utilizing this tip, but it is a log home type tip, but it does fit the pallet build very well. I'm also going to take and walk y'all around. This is a point of view video. I'm gonna walk y'all around what we've done so far, and yeah, you'll have to bear with us. It is cold. I know it's not cold to people up north, but we've only ever lived here and we've never left. So it's as cold as my life gets. Either way, enjoy the quick tip. P.S. I have a question for all you tough old roots. I'll add that in at the end of the video, so stick around for that. If you feel like answering it, that would be amazing. If not, you know, just go watch something else. I'm gonna show y'all a little trick that mostly comes up in like log cabins, but it's also proving to be very useful on this particular build. But first, we're just gonna look around the outside. But yeah, that's the pallet that we just put into place. That is pretty much, I mean, you know, it'll be a little bit taller, but that's pretty much the height. I mean, pretty close. We'll be adding another piece roughly this size, so maybe 1.5 feet to it. But this is how the outside looks. What I found is really cool, but it will get covered up. You will not be able to notice it later, is how many different matching sets. This is a matching set. This is a matching set. I find that very, very interesting. Let's see. Down here and right here is a matching set. But either way, we're gonna go up here where I just put in this pallet and show y'all this trick. But this is kind of how it looks when you're standing in it. It is small. Let me get, I guess, in a corner. So it is small, but this is one section of what'll be a relatively full-sized house. Maybe a little bit on the small side, but you know, this isn't a house. This is a room. This is a room. We're building it in 3 pieces. So I'm going to move around some, but the item of focus here is where this pallet connects to this one, and the you know, the pizza slice gap that it has. Right there. So how do you fix that? Specifically, whenever this piece right here, this pallet board right here, probably isn't square. So pulling this back down not only is a giant pain, but even if you cut this top one square, it won't necessarily match up. I believe this top one is very crooked and the bottom one is relatively square, but I'm not going to risk dragging this sucker down to check that. So a lot of times what they'll do with log houses, you take your saw, in a log house construction, it's usually a chainsaw. But what you can do, and yeah, it's fiddly, it takes a minute, but you put your saw in this gap and just cut them. And all you're doing is sliding your saw in between these 2 pieces. Whenever you cut all the way through, obviously be careful not to cut, you know, this board here within the confines of this particular build. When you do that, you'll have a small gap. You just tighten him up, you know, press the gap back together and repeat until you're happy with how it's turning out, with how the fit is. I would imagine with this one I'll do it at least twice. You can use a bigger saw. So a lot of people ask why I don't use a regular saw, why I prefer this. And the deal is, I like this one better. I can create a straighter cut with this. And, if the goal is not to make a straight cut, then what are you doing? But in this particular situation here, so this saw is thin, I could, I'm gonna have to cut this at least twice to get it close enough to where I'll be happy with it. I could use the larger saw. With that larger saw, I would have larger teeth. And in case you didn't notice, we're pretty high off of the ground. No, this isn't a skyscraper or, the Eiffel Tower, but we're pretty high up off the ground, and this pallet is only attached by this much material here and by that much material there. So a larger saw would have more, it would require more force. So I would be shaking, it's safer. It's safer to use this one because it's a more delicate saw. It's not going to shake this pallet. It's not going, you have to put a lot of force in it because it has larger teeth. So either way, that is the reasons. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do this a couple times. When I'm finished, I'll tighten him down and repeat. But either way, that is a trick, right? I don't know how often it comes up in other types of construction besides log homes, but I do know it in the log home scenario, and I do know it here. So either way, trick. There we go. Sure to blow all your dust out because otherwise that's going to give you a false reading here. Tighten them back up. Yep, it got dramatically closer. So either way, rock and roll, guys. That is the tip for this moment. Oh, on a side note, right? People have talked about being concerned about wind. So this is our mountain right here. We don't necessarily own that bit, but we are completely surrounded, except for this small gap right here, by mountains. So it's an incredibly private place. It's incredibly quiet. We don't get a lot of wind. It is also incredibly cold, but I like that. The other day, they had a wind warning. And I was watching those trees up on that ridge, and they were getting shredded. And there wasn't a bit of breeze at all right here. So it does have its bonuses, although it is cold. So there you have it. Basically, I just decided to put the GoPro on the head thing and walk around and give y'all just sort of a point of view of the construction as it is at this point. And then also the tip was just kind of the nugget in the middle. So if you watched all of that, rock and roll, good job. It's time for the question, right? So I made a community post. If you don't know what that is, if you go on our actual web, on our channel page, it says community, and it's just like making a Facebook post, except it's on YouTube. So we made a post there, and it was a giant cluster somehow. But the question was, what types of things would you guys be interested in us making and putting on the website? I had phrased it, even if it's just things for the home, things for the garden, things for cooking, religious items, jewelry, etc. Whatever it is that you would like to see there, or if that's too hard to answer, what type of things would you expect to see? Obviously, we're mountain folk. Somehow we have a website. Don't really know who allowed us to have that. But we do, and we only have one thing for sale on it right now: spring kits. So if there's anything that you would have an interest in, or anything that you would expect to see when you went there, you know, something that would fit, you know, just input of any way, shape, or form, except for negative ones, right? Like I said, it was cluster. But either way, that is it for this video. Thank you guys for everything y'all have done, watching the video, hitting the like buttons, etc. Always remember, if you liked what you saw, hit that button. If you're new to the project, hit that other button. You can help support the project. There are links below. Check out the website, buy a spring kit, and stay tuned until the next installment of Steve in the Woods.